Hello, David. Hello, Marvin.
Hi. Hi, welcome to Rainbow Crimson. Rainbow Crimson. Okay, we're starting well for the end of the year.
Yeah,
Welcome to Crimson River. No, Crimson River. That's not it's only River.
someone had a little bit too much eggnog.
Yeah, more whisking folk. You know, can't be choosers. Um, what are we doing exactly? Oh, yes, it's Rainbow Flickers of the Crimson Screen. Welcome. Mm.
This is a little chaotic. Not the vibe. But okay, so we're going to be talking about A Christmas Story. Now, the title of the video is A Frenchman Watches A Christmas Story for the First Time. Because David, you've never seen this movie before, right?
Nope.
I know Marvin.
I know.
But Marvin's from Australia, so he doesn't know either, really.
Mm.
So this movie is was made by Bob Clark. Do you know who Bob Clark is?
It's a Bob, one of the multiple Bobs I've heard about, but I don't think. What has he done? I haven't actually
Okay,
checked anything because I was
well,
not around. So,
apparently Bob Clark has made some of the most successful films in Canadian film history,
oops.
including Black Christmas, Murder by Decree, Porky's,
Oh, okay.
and The Christmas Story. So yeah, and he's also from originally from New Orleans.
Ooh, we like the New Orleans. Lot of
Okay,
vibes.
so basically this whole it's less of a review because I just feel like for every American you've probably seen this movie about
Mm.
500 times by now. So there's not really much to add to it. Like you know it by heart probably. But this is David's first time, you know, watching it. So David, what do
Be
you think?
gentle. Okay, it's a bit chaotic today, but must be the medication. Okay. Oh. So, yeah, so it's the first time I heard about it. Especially last year, you were telling me like on chat, oh, there's a new Christmas story. Okay, yeah, there's all the adults, basically all the actors are coming back as adults. I said, okay, and I was all excited. Everyone seemed to be excited over there, but I was just like, okay. So yeah,
Keep in mind there actually was another sequel, but we don't talk about it.
okay.
This sequel, the sequel, I guess that we're not talking about today, but that sequel is actually has the original cast returning. Everyone except Melinda Dillon, who actually died last year,
Oh, they
who
could have brought
plays
it back too.
the mom. Well, she was alive at the time of filming the sequel, but
Eh,
I think
hey,
she
you
had
see,
retired from acting. So
well, they could have got the graves in.
wow, you really jumped out the window with that one. And
Mm.
so there's a lot. There's also a lot that I learned about this movie just researching it before this video, because I had no idea that it's actually based on Gene Shepard's novel "In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash," which is a collection of semi-autobiographical short stories that Shepard wrote for Playboy magazine during the 1960s.
That's what I actually was wondering, because when I was watching the movie, I was just thinking, it feel really lived in, like the stories seem to be lived. Like, who had the idea of to actually add this rather terrible lamp, for example? That can't be something you invent for a show or for a movie. That must have happened.
Yes, and it's pronounced fragile.
Oh, that's too fragile. Must be Italian. Hmm.
So the movie is pretty much just a 9-year-old boy that really wants a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. Like that is
Hmm.
it. I I didn't know BB guns were such a thing back then. I guess so. You didn't have much to play with in the 40s, I'm sure.
Hmm.
To get that BB gun was just the end all be all for him, and he keeps hearing throughout the movie You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Mm. I think what I found interesting, because the movie was in 1940s. I actually asked you the question at the beginning when we were watching it, which period is it? Because it didn't feel like the 70s or the 60s. It really felt like a kind of yeah, the 40s seems actually correct. And one thing is very interesting is actually it's the 40s, so we actually had the Second World War started in Europe, but we actually don't talk about the war,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
pretty interesting.
this is apparently supposed to take place after the war, and it's supposed to depict the I guess the average white child after life after the war and middle class
Is
life,
it?
kind of.
Okay.
That's what it says on the Wikipedia page.
What first thing first thing I remember actually remind me of, and it might be completely dumb, but it's the show Wonder Years. Because I
Yeah.
had the same feeling of it, which is basically the world today, the world actually seen through the eyes of the kids. And
Well, it's saying that it took place in the 40s, but according to a review on Rotten Tomatoes, it
mhm.
says, "What year is A Christmas Story set in?" The question is kept deliberately vague so as to preserve the sense of slightly fuzzy nostalgia that has made the film so beloved. It says, "But a few concrete clues appear in the movie itself that provide clarity to the question." So what do you think those clues would be?
We could see actually the at the beginning of the movie they were watching that window display, and we could see very obvious 1940s soldier uniforms. That was pretty obvious,
Yeah.
for example. The clothes maybe as well. The show they're listening to
Yeah,
on the radio.
it's saying in some scenes the 1930s vehicles are a dead giveaway for the setting.
Mm.
However, the popularity of elements like the Little Orphan Annie radio series and the Red Ryder uh, BB gun reached beyond the decade, allowing for some ambiguity
Mm.
that is supposed to be deliberate.
Okay, because there was a lot of things. I'm a poor European, so I didn't have a lot of the references from the movie. So I seen it kind of. It was a very interesting viewing because I could understand the appeal of it, but at the same time, I didn't have a lot of the references.
Yeah.
Like the BB gun, for example, the Red Ryder BB gun. The obviously pretty weird sequence when he's shooting at the burglars in the garden. All these things were actually really, really American kind of coded in some ways, which was actually funny.
Yeah. It's saying some of the biggest clues about the date come from the set designs and props. In A Christmas Story, a calendar is shown that matches the year 1939, which seems like a cut and dry explanation for what year the film is set in. There's
Okay.
also the inclusion of The Wizard of Oz, which opened in August 1939. Furthermore, there's no mention of our sign of World War II, which the U.S. famously entered in December 1941. There are no
Mhm.
recruited soldiers in the crowds, no war bond banners, no references to loved one overseas, and no mention of any news story from the fighting in Europe. Along with The Wizard of Oz, it puts a reasonably hard date on the story with a few wrinkles. While it sounds like 1939 is the definite year of the film setting, some of the film's most prominent props present some discrepancies. So,
Okay. Okay, so it makes sense.
yeah,
So basically, the people in the crowd watching the window display will be the people from the Salvation Army?
probably.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
mm,
So I'm learning myself because
mm,
keep in mind, like this movie to me, like I grew up watching it. It was on TV every Christmas. I think just yesterday because we're filming this like the day after Christmas. It was on Uh, it was on, I think, TBS. If you're in America, you know what channel that is. And they had it playing on the loop for 24 hours, which is a tradition that they do
mm.
every year. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's kind of hard to review a film which, it's
Yeah, it
just
seems
so,
well beloved, yeah.
yeah.
Eh, It was an interesting viewing because you could really see like I say, really reminded me of the Wonder Years in the fact there's a narrator with an adult talking about actually this childhood. Uh, I love the way they actually set up the sense of wonder about Christmas and also the scary part of Christmas because the entire scene in the mall with the Santa Claus and the elves were rather terrifying.
Yes, the elves. I thought elves aren't elves supposed to be mean, or is that offensive now? Like, are elves mean? Or
Are they supposed to be mean?
I'm not
I'm not
sure.
sure. I don't think so. I think it
I
was
thought
more
they were.
like
It's like every time I see them like depicted in a Christmas movie, they seem to always be a little sassy. So
oh, that's a gay thing.
maybe.
I'm sure. But it was really like it became this kind of nightmarish situation where you just want to see Santa Claus to tell him that you want that BB gun, and it's kind of tribulation of going up that stairs to see Santa, who's pretty much pretty awful, making all the kids cry, and you completely forget what you want for Christmas. And the guy just said, "Oh, do you want the balloon?
No,
Football?"
football, yeah, football. And Ralph's in his head thinking like, "Huh, football? What's that? Yes, yes, I want a football."
But it was one thing that I would say is all the child actors were really good, and it's very rare nowadays. You see a child actor in movies, you're just like, oof, oh, Sunset Beach comes to mind. Um,
Ooh.
oof, yes, it does. It was traumatic, rather traumatic, I must say. But the acting was really good, and I did love actually the kind of the banter between all the kids. It felt really realistic in some ways. The double dare, triple dare, triple da dare.
A triple dog dare you.
It would be something that you can imagine kids saying anyway. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that went well into like the '90s because when I was a kid on the playground, that's the one thing that if someone triple dog dare you to do something, you couldn't get out of it. Like you got to do it.
oh damn, that was the war. So, yeah, I do remember this thing like this as when I was a kid. Damn. But there's this little thing I was telling you when we were watching it. I was just like, why is a mashed potato so white? It was for me, that was just like, why is it so white? Is there a reason why it is so white? It wasn't even the movie, it was just, there was little detail. I was like, why?
I know you kept asking me that. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, it's just like, why is it so white? Potatoes are not supposed to be that white. But there was a lot of things I really enjoy. I enjoyed the depiction, like, the parents were seen as this kind of this kind of adult who got the laugh of death of the kids because I actually believe the dad's gonna kill the kids because the kids said beaten up actually the bully
Yes.
or the entire F word being uttered during a conversation and it become this big situation which was really funny.
Yeah, and then when she put soap in his mouth to wash his mouth out with soap,
Mm.
and he's so afraid to tell her that he heard the word from his dad, so he blames it on his friends, and like all you can hear is a friend's mom on the phone saying, "What? What?"
I'm being beaten up by the mom. And like, it was just like, there's something never understood it. It's a very, I don't know if it's only Anglo-Saxon things. I think they're doing it in the UK as well, but I never heard about it in France. So, but it was actually funny when the mom tried to use the soap in her mouth and she can't take it for more like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I remember after that he's just laying in the bed, just wanting retribution, where he's just saying like he's gonna come back blind from soap poison.
Mm. And the entire soap poisoning sequence was actually funny.
She's like, "What? What? Tell us. What did we do to cause this? What happened?" And he's just like, "So poisoning." Ah!
And the guy just said, I told you not to use that type of brand. I can't remember which brand he's talking about. It's just so fucking so 40s. 40s, 50s, because you were all about Brenda in that times. So it was really, really fun. Like when he's all so excited, he's really portray a lot of what kids experience. Like I do remember ordering stuff, like waiting for the post to come and always be disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Like when you try to get the secret decoder thing,
Yeah.
and the secret message is actually drink your Ovaltine. And we have to remember this was actually the period when they started to really go advertising crazy, because 1940s, 1950s, that really was the time when they really started to actually go crazy on everything from advertising. So it was fitting with actually the period.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. I found that a lot of the stuff you were saying really can, and maybe that's why it actually works, because a lot of the things, despite the fact it's in the 40s, we still remember and we actually can relate to the sequence that happened. We can relate with the bullying. We can relate with actually waiting, be disappointed about things. We can relate about wanting a present so bad for Christmas. We can relate actually the fighting at school. We can relate the double dare. Uh, we can read about all of these things, and maybe that's why it works so well. And it's nice. It's actually a nice movie. The ending is really cute. Um,
Yes. So, I guess for you as a kid, what was the one present you thought you would die if you didn't get?
oh, oh, really? You want to tell me? Oh, an Amstrad CPC 6128.
Oh,
Mm,
did you get it?
look at me. I got it. But I thought I would never get it because it was kind of expensive. But it actually shaped me for being a developer now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mine was the Nintendo 64. I thought I
Oh,
was
yes, you
gonna
told me about that.
I thought I was gonna die if I didn't get that.
I think the console was not something like we had a ColecoVision, which is people might not remember about it, but ColecoVision was like this. I think that was the Atari and the ColecoVision. So we had a ColecoVision, which was terrible. It was cool at that time. And I remember my parents just playing it in the evening. Like kids go to bed, and so we actually had to go to bed with my brothers, and we could hear them play Donkey Kong downstairs. And they were bringing their friends to play Donkey Kong downstairs, and it was just like, okay. So it was, but yeah, it really kind of it's universal. That movie is universal in some ways because it really talk about what it is to be a kid,
Yeah.
and in some way also I find it sad that now maybe it's a bygone era. I can recognize a lot of stuff that was happening in that movie, but nowadays with social media and all the screens and everything else, maybe it's not the same that it used to be.
True.
Like you were sending me that post where everyone got technology for Christmas. And the first thing I thought about, okay, so they're going to spend the entire Christmas day just on their own, doing their own things and not actually being together.
Yeah.
What actually, what actually in that movie, they just, the turkey is destroyed by the neighbor's dogs. And they end up having to eat at the Chinese restaurant with a slightly racist situation, but it was funny, never mind. When they actually tried the Chinese turkey, which everyone
Yes.
knows is a duck, but they call it a Chinese turkey. I think you had a Chinese turkey this Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah. And she was just
Mm.
like, "Oh, I can't eat it because it's looking at me." And he just takes the knife and
So it was nice. I think what I enjoyed it, and it was really it felt a bit like it felt a feel good movie without too much violence, without too much things about, oh, the parents is a pedophile or whatever. Like
yeah.
there was nothing like this. It was just a family and actually Christmas. It was very simple premise. And they managed to make a movie out of it, which was really fun. Something I would watch with my kids, to be
Yeah.
honest. Even though they're going to tell us that, oh, look at you, you were living in the last century. So, mm. But it was fun. It was fun, and I was actually at my parents' for Christmas, and I had my nephew and nieces, and we're watching Christmas movie a bit. And it's not the same. Doesn't eat the same.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really.
I agree. I agree.
So should we give a snowflake?
I'm not even giving it a snowflake just
No.
because I'm like that movie doesn't need a rating at this point.
Hmm.
It's just like,
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic. Maybe next year I'm gonna actually look at the sequel
yeah,
to see actually what's like. Uh,
yes. The sequel is definitely very interesting.
mm,
So I do remember. I remember some details that the redhead bully is now a police officer,
mhm.
and the little brother that Ralphie's little brother is like not wanting to be with his family. He's like a travel influencer almost, but he like works for
Really?
hotels or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it makes sense. At least he came out of his closet.
Yeah, it's same actors. I think the only person that they didn't get is of course uh the mom because she retired from acting. Which is sad because I thought like, it's such a role I love her for, especially with the part when she's like, "Who's mommy's little piggy?"
Even I was kept wondering, is she broken the lamp on purpose?
Yeah.
She has.
I don't know what happened. I was just watering my plants and it
Mhm,
just fell over.
mhm. It was a terrible one though. And
Yeah.
I did love that kind of when you look at like you were telling me there was parade like this where you come from, like where you
Hmm.
live, so something that doesn't exist in here. So it was quite nice to actually imagine things like this happening, and I kind of jealous because it would make Christmas very special, like a special thing, which is cute. Ah,
So,
yeah, so
well,
no rating.
I guess before we wrap it up, David, do you want to show the audience your Christmas present?
Mm,
Say hello to
there we
Marvin.
go. Hi. Yeah, this is a nice Christmas present, isn't it? Mm. You don't want to show
Yes.
yours?
Oh, I have it right here. 1 second.
Yes, it's
we
a
have
Pikachu.
we have a real life Pikachu. Look at the
What
detail.
was left of it. Directly from France as well. Mm. He
So
traveled a lot. So on
yes,
that
and
note, I guess we're gonna leave it there before we're making a fool out of self again. And let's hope you all had a nice holidays, and we'll see you next time for a new movie. Something I'm gonna be choosing. I don't know which one
yes,
yet.
he'll be choosing. So I guess hope you had a Merry Christmas, have a Happy Kwanzaa, and
Ooh,
a Happy New Year. So
exactly. Bye bye.
bye.